with this and this and that without introducing that stigma?
I think we need to, first of all, we need to lower our expectations of each other so that we reduce the pressure that everybody has. We must allow people to manifest their weaknesses without changing how we view them. That when I'm relating with you, I should know that there's a difference between the you who's hosting me on this show right now and not try to use that platform to judge the person that you are. Right now you're functioning in an office, but when we go beyond this, there is the you that does your day-to-day stuff. And I should not use this platform to raise the expectations of who you are as a person, so that when I discover that there's something not working, then I say, but he's a TV host.
Yeah.
See, those are not related at all.
True.
So we need to minimize these expectations and know that everybody, just like when you're dealing with children, you give them the opportunity to grow naturally, regardless of their gifts, regardless of their abilities and their skill. What we have not understood is that somehow society has made us compete with one another. We're very competitive. And that is why it becomes difficult for people to share their weaknesses, because if the other person gets to know that, then they want to leverage on that and say, you see, so RB is struggling with this so that I can score points, you know. So I will look better in that area because I'm not struggling with it. So I want to use it as a leverage. I score points now, so I look like I'm a better man. We must stop competing and we must lower expectations and we relate at the basic. Any relationship that will be authentic and will be strong must start from the basic.
Right.
Totally foundational level.
Let me use an obvious alpha male, our very own president, Uhuru Kenyatta. If today we were to say just the two, me and him, behind closed doors, I have immense respect for that gentleman because he is our president, commander-in-chief and all that. But what if we sit in a room and then he breaks down and tells me of this super heartbreak that he's going through? I think I will stop looking at him as the president that I know, the fierce person who speaks in rallies, and I'll start looking at him as, oh my God, this guy was just crying last night, and we are here in a rally, and he's saying all these strong things. And do you think that is a problem we have, and inevitably we can never run away from it? And that is why we hide?
Yes and no. And the reason is, by the way, that would be a privilege.
Seeing the president cry.
Or even sharing with him that one-on-one. I would really love that. Now, the thing is, why would he open up to you? That's number one. Two, what is it that he would open up to you? That he can't open or he has not been opening.
Right.
To come to a point of now, the tears coming down.
Right.
Agreeing with Ratemo and Bulale here, what is actually a fact, and that's what we need to realize, is that men, we are living in competition. And this zeroes down to, I've talked about the definition of manhood. Just look at how we started growing up.
Right.
From the time when we were growing up, from the time when we were young. Break time, every time there was break time and the kids would run out to the field, what is it that we'll go doing? We are in football, najaribu kukuchenga, or we are doing some wrestling, coming up one another. Somebody will think that we are fighting, but we are not fighting.
We're playing.
Tunapimana nguvu, right? And so many other ways that we were doing it. Now we have taken it now a little bit far because again of the pressure, the demand that is there. We don't understand really, like Ratemo said, the basics. What is the definition of the man? So we have gone now that deep and that far, and we are living in competition. So I'm looking at what is Mbuvi and vis-a-vis me. So I want to outdo you.
Right.
In the course of outdoing you, sometimes I do it in a stupid way. Have you ever seen the way we drive on the roads these days? We have forgotten about the highway code that we learned in driving school, and all we are doing is, driving by available space.
All right.
Let
me just hold you on that because we have a call on the line. Kagwema. Good morning, Kagwema.
How are you, Buvi?
I'm quite fine, sir. Habari ya masiku nyingi?
Salama sana. You look very good in that wonderful attire.
Okay.
I want to contribute to today's debate whether today's man is neglected.
Yes.
And I want to start by saying that today's man is not neglected. What he has done is that he does not understand himself.
Okay.
If a man understands himself and actually appreciates himself from within,
yes,
you don't need somebody to appreciate you. What we are doing is that men are born competitors.
Yes.
And because of the competition, you want to rise above any other person.
Yes.
And as a result, there is a very high bar set for men.
True.
So the most important thing is to appreciate yourself. Don't let people describe you.
Okay.
You know yourself.
Yes.
Do what we call a SWOT analysis.
Yes.
The strengths, the opportunities, the weaknesses, and the threats as far as a man you are concerned.
Okay.
And that just don't wait for somebody to come and validate you. Validate yourself.
Okay.
Because men as competitors, nobody is interested in you.
Yes.
Again, another point is that men need to forgive themselves. Okay. Men do not forgive themselves.
Okay.
You go through a deal, you waste your money maybe with a woman or something else, and you keep those grudges in you, and they keep burning inside until you take a rope and commit suicide, or you drink a full crate of beer or a full bottle of vodka or whatever. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
So we need to forgive ourselves, we understand ourselves, and we live our lives. Live your life. Don't put facades. Men are putting facades.
Thank you, Kagwema. Yeah. Thank you, and of course, thank you for that compliment on my attire. Asante sana. Do we have another caller? Kevin as well. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well.
All right. What is your comment or question?
Okay, that's a very interesting conversation. My comment is this. There's something called the natural evolution of a man.
Okay.
Yes, so I believe sometimes we try to condemn and try to go against that.
Okay.
So give so much pressure on the man other than just making sure that the male evolve the way they're supposed to do, considering the existing circumstances.
Okay.
So how best can we support the man to evolve and just to define their role within the existing situation and context and how things evolve in the world? Yes.
All right. Kevin from Bungoma, thank you very much. All right. Before we respond to these ones and we maliza that highway code maneno, let's check what you're saying on WhatsApp as well. All right. We do have John Kanyoni saying, great men in the panel. I salute those men. They are doing a good job helping the boy child. Salute Pastor Chris, Mr. Burale, and Mr. John Kanyoni. Oh, ulikuwa unasalimiwa. All right. Wamesalimika. Also, let us know where you're tuned in from, tafadhali, as you tweet, as you text us. We have, hello, good morning. I'm Shiko from Mombasa. I've been married for 13 years, and we have never had a conversation addressing issues pertaining to our marriage and parenting without my hubby getting agitated. Any serious conversation ends up as beef. I am tired. He never acknowledges any wrongdoing. All right, Shiko pole sana. Let's talk about how men cope when they hit the rock bottom. Maybe they lose their job or their businesses go down and they become broke. It becomes so hard for them to pick themselves up. Wow. Which is very true. Also, we have the society has greatly concentrated on protecting feminism, abandoning the boy child. The boy child is in siege. Hi, sawa sawa. Let us, first of all, finish what you were saying about kupima na nguvu.
Okay, so as a result of that, because of the competition, and we've lost now the definition, we outdo one another. And the reason why I'll talk about you now is because I'm comparing you and me. So the minute you open up to me, and I see you as a weakling, and me, I am now even covering my own, so I'll go to Bulale and I'll start talking of, hey, you know what, Mbuvi, you know this guy is in shit, You know, I can't imagine this guy can do that. Yet what you are saying is actually really what is affecting me.
True.
But the strength of a man is measured by standing out and coming out and saying, look, to another man, I accept this is my weakness. We were always told when we were growing up, men don't cry.
Yeah.
And, well, that's what we were told. But I think that sentence was never completed. Men don't cry before women and children. But before another man, we cry to one another.
Okay.
If I take in Bulale, because what every man is looking for is brotherhood and a safe space.
Okay. Before we get to the calls, on the point he has talked about crying. Burale, at what point should we cry? Should we cry privately? Should we cry before our boys? Or should we cry wherever it hits us?
Let's also define what crying is. There could be the normal cry, but also men cry in different ways.
I'm in pain, I'm in debt.
Yes.
Na sijalipa rent miezi tatu, nyumba imefungwa. At what point should I cry?
Everything you have said, some men are saying that, but not saying the words.
Okay.
Is by over-drinking, over-indulging with maybe immoral behavior, or removing themselves off from the crowd. To deal with fellow men, we have to understand the loud cry in absolute silence. You need to see their tears that are on the inside. It's on behavior change. It's the normal one, Chris, John, I'm going through this. That one you can deal with it.
Yeah.
But what about the majority of the men who will not shed the tears, but are screaming loudly? And if you don't pick that up, you'll now be picking the suicide note to try and piece together what happened before they committed suicide.
Okay.
So if, for example, I talk to Chris 3 times a week, and then for 3 weeks he goes silent, something is wrong.
Yeah.
But us men, we dismiss it as, I think he's becoming too busy. I think he's having speaking engagements.
He just got
No,
married,
but Chris is saying, RB, I'm going through hell and high water. Reach out to me. Yeah. Sometimes we just want somebody to stretch their hand. And if I see a hand that is stretched without any blood, because the moment I share with him and I hear the story somewhere else, I will never talk to another man.
True. Yes.
The only time I will talk to my fellow men is in a suicide note.
What?
So stretch your hand and let not blood or a knife be in the hand.
Okay.
And say, you know what, I know what you're going through, but come. Now, once you are safe, let's talk. I'm telling you, if he can do that for me, he can do that for me. Once I heal, you can bet your bottom dollar, I will do that for you.
Chris, at what point should we cry?
You know, while you're talking about that, I'm just thinking about our deficiency in dealing with processes. Men love to deal with products. That's why when we get into an issue, we want to offer a quick solution. If we don't have a solution, we don't know how to be around it. So we don't know how to be there for somebody who's going through stress, depression, somebody who's grieving. We don't know how to be there without being a hero, offering a solution and saying this is the way out. When people cannot tell you this is the way out, they jump out themselves and they leave you right there. When they feel that their solutions are not working, you know, you come in and you tell RB, be a man, be strong. And the next week he's still not strong. So we begin to leave because we're not wired for the process. Women are. They can stay on the same thing, you know. They can just be there and talk for no reason and meet around no agenda and just want to feel each other and walk with this person through. Men don't know how to do that. When we started, John was talking about, you know, you go to schools, you'll find the men are not there. Why? Because we don't know how to be watching these kids running up and about and doing this. We want to move from point A to B very quickly. And if we don't think we're moving from point A to B, we are bored. We are out. Very transactional.
That's very true.
That's very true.
We don't want these things that are processed and then you're just enjoying the space and the moment. So we don't even sometimes, you know, even those who are married, they may not even have meaningful conversations with their wives because we don't know how to enjoy the now. We want to have a solution to everything. That sometimes becomes a problem in how we relate with one another. Because we don't know how to just enjoy each other's space. So I will easily not call you or not contact you until there is something that we need to do. Don't know just how to come in and sit with you and say, man, let's have coffee, and we have really nothing to talk about. And then begin to check out, is this guy really okay? He's not fine. Now, the silent cry that Burali is talking about, if we would understand how to feel each other, then we would pick out the silent cries. But because we are not wired for that, most of the time, even when people are crying out loudly, we feel very incapacitated.
You know, Kagwema called in the first caller who said, you know, we need to start appreciating ourselves. We need to start validating ourselves and forgiving ourselves for all that. And I am brought back to the conversation that what you've just said about me coming to Burale and he tells me, you know, Mbuvi Manzemi, I'm broke. I can't do this and this and this. And I'm telling him, you know what, I'm strong. You know, just shikile usjali, jipange. And at the end of the day, I will end up, I feel like I will end up judging him like, Kweni Burale, you didn't know that you needed to pay rent. Why didn't you find that job? Why didn't you, and when you found that job, why didn't you keep it? Ama, ukiona iyo job ifanyi, why didn't you start your business? Because probably chances are, I'm successfully employed, successful in business, and I'm doing good, and I'm wondering why we probably have the same potential. So do you think that probably we are afraid, and like you said, in terms of, if you tell me your secrets and tomorrow you find out that Kanyoni knows them, then you'll be like, I will never tell Mbuvi or probably any other man again. Do you think that probably our problem is innate? Like, tulijengwa tu nayo, tuliumbwa tu nayo shida. Kujudge, we just judge. You come and tell me you don't have rent, and I'm thinking, how now? How don't you have rent?
I don't think so. I think society has beaten us to go to a direction that is not necessarily right. But you know, you can be used to one direction that is wrong, but because you're so used to it, you think it's right. Or that's how we are. And I think that's one of our greatest problems. And then another thing I will say is that sometimes why we, Chris will come and tell me something and say, just be a man. Do you know why sometimes we do that? Because he has said something that is a mirror to what I'm going through. So I'm like, I don't want to deal with it. It's something I'm hiding. So Chris is going through that. Does he know? I've been going through that for the last 11 years. Him is just talking about 3 weeks. So sometimes we don't like a mirror that will show us our scars and our pimples. So we run away from it because as a man, we just want to be all powerful. When you walk into your house, your wife must see a man who is financially stable, always in control of his emotions. Then when you go to your fellow men, you want to be the man who everybody says, man, I want to be like you. And sometimes it's so painful when men say, I want to be like you, yet you don't even want to be who you are. You understand? So it makes us now recoil. And when that happens, then I'll have to keep up with the image that men want to be like.
Yeah.
And I will not now tell Chris, because Chris is a fellow man, so he also wants to be like me. Maybe he has just never said it. So I will not tell him the things I'm dealing with.
Okay.
I think the bottom line here, for men to ever open up because I'll tell you this, and maybe I know there's a group of feminists that may not like this statement. For a society to heal, men must take their position.
Okay.
I tell you the fact.
True.
Right.
And I know there's a feminism thing that has come up, and we think feminism is bashing men. No, it's building women. You don't necessarily have to bash a man. So men, all I ask is let's get to a safe space.
Okay.
What Mr. CJ has said is that I like is that can we just sit, not watch football, because watching football is emotions. He supports Liverpool. I support Man United.
Liverpool.
Now, imagine,
Reds, right?
imagine I want to tell him something.
Yes.
And you're watching a football
Football
match.
match.
Then Liverpool scores. He'll be so elated to notice a silent cry. So he'll think I'm sad because Manu is behind.
Has lost.
But I need him to notice there's something wrong. So come out from horse racing, leave football, let's just sit and have coffee. Okay. No agenda. We are not discussing an event. We are not discussing marriage. We are not discussing singleness. Let's just bond.
I know you want to say something,
Yes.
but I want us to take a break. Just hold that thought. There's also the caller from, rather the WhatsApp message from Mombasa from Shiko, who said that whenever they want to discuss something with the husband, he gets so agitated. What could be the problem? To stand by, because our conversation is definitely taking shape in a minute. Remember, the question of the day we asked you was quite simple. Just let us know what are some of the factors that have led to the weakening of the man. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be right back.